Freedom. It's the very heartbeat of America, the ideal that drives us. Americans have fought and died for it, but for decades, court rulings have placed strict limits on the role of faith in public life, and that's why a recent Supreme Court decision is a huge game changer. Today, we'll clear up a basic misconception about the phrase separation of church and state and explain the recent Supreme Court decisions that effectively overturn 50 years of legal hostility towards religion. How did this happen, and what does it mean for you? Trial attorney Kelly Shackelford is America's premier legal expert on religious liberty, who has successfully put on 5 major cases before the U.S. Supreme Court.
I think when you look at the founding and what our founders were trying to do and why they established this country, they wanted to be able to worship, they wanted to be able to live out of the church itself and exercise their religion in public, in their daily life, in every way, without the government telling them that they can't do those things. Of course, separation of church and state, those words are not in the Constitution. We have an establishment clause and a free exercise clause. That term came from a letter by Thomas Jefferson to let people know at the Danbury Baptist Association that the government wasn't going to be used to control the church or to control religious freedom.
So there is our first key point. Separation of church and state is not in the Constitution, but a term coined by Thomas Jefferson to assure colonial settlers that their freedom to worship was protected from interference by the government. That's very different from what some modern anti-religious groups have suggested. But here's the big news. The test created by Lemon versus Kurtzman, the 1971 Supreme Court decision that stopped school prayer in its tracks, has been overturned. Shackelford and his legal team at First Liberty Institute won this landmark case in 2022, but its broad repercussions are just starting to sink in.
There's a case called Lemon versus Kurtzman, which was handed down over 50 years ago. And what they did is the Establishment Clause, which we have to keep there from being a nationally established church that we all have to support, they said in this case, well, we think it means a lot more than that. We think it means sort of a strict separation of church and state. Well, what that would mean is anywhere government is, religion can't be. And of course, government's everywhere. So it's really a way to push religion to the corners of society. So it became a weapon. And people all the time will ask, gosh, they took down nativity scenes. They took down menorahs at Hanukkah. 10 Commandments were rolled into the closet. Why? Because that was in the Constitution? No, because of this Lemon test. And what happens in the Coach Kennedy case is they say Lemon's over. Everywhere that a cross went down, it can come back up. Everywhere that a 10 Commandments was rolled into the closet, it can come back out. Nativity scenes at Christmas, okay? Yeah. Menorah at Hanukkah, okay? Yeah. I mean, this is a total change for our country. When you remove religious references across the country, I mean, we're a religious people with a religious background, diverse, Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, you name it, right? But those religious values imbue our culture. When you remove them from the public arena, you get a very different morality. And we've experienced that for the last 50 years. This allows the real truth of who we are as a country to come back. You can celebrate the fact that you have religious people in your community. It's okay. That's who America is. But it's going to take that education because most people have been trained for so long that they need to be taught and to understand that things have shifted dramatically because of the Coach Kennedy decision.
Religious freedom restored, and that's terrific news for all Americans. And legal insiders say that coming later this year in 2025 are new decisions upholding parents' rights, even as local school boards turn a deaf ear to what parents want for their kids. So until then, share this video and celebrate your religious liberty, our most important freedom.